I think the trick with foodie fiction is to know that the food itself is a character in the book. So it has its own story as well. It's got its own backstory. Before a food lands on your plate, it's got a whole world of experience behind it and all these different people who've been with it along the way. And that gives you a lot of great entry points into your story. And so with the food being a character, you really need to understand that it has to have a purpose for being in the book. It's not just there as window dressing, which is nice, but it needs to either drive the plot or support the characters. It has to have a role in that book. Resilience is definitely a theme through all of my books, and I think that's because resilience is a quality every human needs to develop over their lifetime, because we're not getting out of this human experience without being knocked down again and again and again. And whether that's with grief and loss or accidents and illnesses or betrayals or, it goes on and it keeps going on. And so it's a fundamentally universal theme and a universal experience. So I do relate to it just from the sense that we all have to go through it and we all have to, be resilient. I am eternally inquisitive, so I tend to want to know everything about everything. So people capture my imagination. When I meet people, I'm either asking them lots of questions out loud or I'm thinking them in my head, and it always comes back to, again, those universal themes of how do you cope with that? How do you live a life like that? What makes you want to do what you're doing? And those questions, they simmer away in my mind, and that leads me on to stories and characters. And I'm also really captivated by everything in the natural world. So I love, nature and animals and food and landscapes and flowers and scents and all that great sensory stuff. And I work hard to capture that and put it on the page for my readers.